distinguished Minister, distinguished Presidents of the Court of Cassation and the Council of State, distinguished representatives of the Supreme Courts and high judicial bodies and institutions of Turkey, distinguished Ambassador of the European Union to Turkey, distinguished President of the Justice Academy, distinguished Head of the Central Finance and Contracts Unit, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted and honored to welcome you all today on behalf of the Council of Europe to the launch of what is, for all of us, including the Council of Europe, a new and very important project aimed at assisting Turkey in enhancing the protection of human rights in the criminal justice system. I'm very pleased, I must say, to see so many representatives of public institutions and other sectors of society who have responded positively to our invitation. I would like at the outset to express my gratitude to our Turkish partners, the Ministry of Justice and the Justice Academy, for their readiness and I would say their enthusiasm to take part in this project. Their role will of course be central in its implementation, and the presence today of Minister Gül and President Özdemir is a most appreciated sign of their commitment to ensuring its success. I would also like to thank the European Union for its generous financial support making this project possible. Our strong partnership in this area and others demonstrates that our ambition to promote our shared values in the field of human rights is not only a mere declaration of intention, but a reality. So I'm very grateful to the European Union. The Council of Europe welcomes and supports the efforts undertaken by Turkey to reform its judiciary in line with European standards and best practices. I would like to mention in particular the new judicial reform strategy, which covers the area of fundamental rights and criminal justice. This important strategic document, together with the action plan on the prevention of human rights violations, constitute a solid basis for developing the human rights dimension of the criminal justice system in Turkey. This is, I think there is no need to underline that, this is an area where individual freedoms are often at stake. Some of the rights enshrined in the European Convention on Human Rights, to which Turkey is a party, are central to the criminal justice system. I would just mention a few, starting with the right to liberty and security, which covers issues relating to detention and the right to a fair trial. But there are also other important rights that are at stake, such as the right to freedom of expression, which are to be mentioned as those rights, in particular the right to freedom of expression and information, can be curtailed when criminal law provisions are applied too widely. On the other hand, when crimes such as domestic violence or excessive use of force by security forces are not properly investigated and punished, this can also lead to violations of human rights, and I think it's important to remember that point. The effective protection of human rights in line with the Convention requires that concrete action is taken to achieve tangible improvements. And from that perspective, I would like to commend the announcement by Minister Gül during the opening of the judicial year of his wish to put in place safeguards to prevent arbitrariness in the area of pretrial detention. I think our joint project comes at the right moment to help develop such important safeguards. And I'm confident that we can achieve significant results The Council of Europe has a long-standing cooperation with the Turkish authorities and the judiciary in the area of human rights and the rule of law. We've developed our cooperation through dedicated projects that for more than a decade, the Director General in his introduction at the beginning this morning referred to the project that we had from 2012 and 2014 on the criminal justice system, leading to legislative changes and the training of 1,200 judges and prosecutors on different topics relating to human rights in criminal proceedings. So I'm very glad that we can now continue in this direction. The new project that we are launching today offers the opportunity to address some outstanding issues relating to the criminal justice system and which have been identified in judgments of the European Court of Human Rights, in particular regarding the right to liberty and the fairness of proceedings. At the same time, and this is something that I would like to underline, the goal of this project is not only to remedy past problems, but also to prevent further violations of the European Convention on Human Rights by enhancing the procedural safeguards applied in criminal proceedings and improving judicial reasoning. I would also like to underline that the project is not about imposing the right criminal justice system. It is about strengthening human rights protection in the administration of justice, regardless of the type of criminal offense. The requirements are well known. The criminal justice system has to justify deprivation of liberty and prevent arbitrariness, consider and apply alternatives to detention, properly investigate and punish crimes in line with the right to a fair trial, provide clear, sufficient, and relevant reasoning in all judicial decisions and judgments, and finally, and it's not the least important, protect and compensate victims. All these issues, of course, have to be addressed having regard to the case law of the Strasbourg Court, but also the case law of the Constitutional Court of Turkey. I would like to mention a few issues that illustrate the importance of these requirements. When we talk about the rights of an accused person in criminal proceedings, I think we will all agree that the right to legal assistance at any stage of criminal proceedings is essential. When we talk about fair trial and equality of arms in criminal proceedings, we all agree that every party has to have equal access to the file, can propose evidence, and cross-examine witnesses. Finally, when we talk about balanced administration of justice in light of the jurisprudence of the European Court of Human Rights, we refer, as I said before, to the adequate and relevant reasoning of domestic judgments. This is not an easy task, but still it is the role of the judiciary to strike the right balance and to ensure and assess the proportionality of measures and techniques used by law enforcement authorities. This is a crucial guarantee against possible abuses and arbitrariness, in particular when the application and interpretation of anti-terrorism legislation is concerned. Supporting criminal justice also means supporting effective prosecution and suppression of crimes. Combating terrorism and crime, including cybercrime, which would be covered by the project, in an effective manner is the duty of public authorities. At the same time, this should not take place to the detriment of fundamental human rights, including those of the persons accused of committing such crimes. The gravity of criminal offenses cannot justify overstepping limits imposed by the respect for individual rights. I will mention as an example the safeguards that must accompany the use of some methods to intercept communications or conduct searches which can directly and seriously affect individual rights, including the right to private life and the right to home. Again, it is the role of the independent and impartial judge to control any arbitrary behavior leading to abuses and human rights violations. I must say this is a challenge not only for Turkey, but for all countries, and still a balanced and human rights approach must prevail. I'm confident that this project will be most valuable for the Turkish authorities and the judiciary to make the criminal justice more effective, fair, and transparent, based on human rights through a range of initiatives that were already presented by the Director General, the assessment of the current legislative framework and policies in the field and support for legislative changes, the development of practical tools for the judiciary to better apply the standards of the European Court of Human Rights in their daily work, an issue that was mentioned by the President of the Academy, the training of judges and prosecutors to better understand, interpret, and find the right balance in applying those standards at national level and to deliver adequately reasoned decisions and judgments, support for specialized units in the institutions combating cybercrime and the financing of terrorism, and finally, dialogue between the various stakeholders for better awareness and mutual understanding. To achieve those results, we know we can count on the support and cooperation of our Turkish partners. Their role is crucial, and I'm confident that they will take full ownership of the project to claim the success story in the end. I would like also to thank the experts that will be involved on our side, the Council of Europe, in the project. They will play a very important role and very instrumental. I think we have managed to find excellent experts. Some of them will be speaking this morning, so I would like also to thank those experts. The second key factor for success is to have an inclusive approach with our partners and other stakeholders, with the input in particular of bar associations and lawyers. Beyond those specialized circles, the voice of civil society is also needed to properly identify and address shortcomings in the field of criminal justice and ensure that safeguards are applied in practice. So I'm confident that with the cooperation of all, this project will bear fruits for all, the Turkish institutions and the judiciary, the legal community, and ultimately, above all, the people of Turkey. So I wish us all much success with this new project. Thank you very much.